Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 new characters and even a screenshot may have secretly just been revealed with nobody really ever noticing. There's some pretty crazy theories being brought up, such as Braun being confirmed in Chapter 3 and even more. Also, make sure if you buy Poppy Playtime merch to use code SHEEP for 10% off. It means the world, link in the description. So recently, it feels like we've been getting closer and closer to Chapter 3's release after the developers dropped a VHS tape of Huggy Wuggy escaping the factory, and also some other minor teases hanging around the internet that nobody has really ever been talking about. So firstly, let's talk about the Chapter 3 main antagonist rumors. So randomly, I was scrolling through Reddit the other day when I found a post in the Poppy Playtime subreddit saying, "What do you think of this?" with an image of some sort of orange robot thing. They elaborate in the comment section saying that this was an image from the Poppy Playtime office that they posted on social media, and essentially for obvious reasons, especially since other pillars in the office showed images of other toys like Boxy Boom and Huggy Wuggy, they thought that this character was going to somehow be related to Chapter 3 in some way. And in no time, people would notice something extra weird inside of Chapter 2. More specifically, inside of the rejected toys room of the second chapter, there are tons of toys like Daisy the Flower and the Pet Rock, who we see laying around the room in some capacity, usually with a matching description on the wall showing why they were rejected inside of the factory. However, one character that fails to show up at all in this room is this random rejected toy just called the Orange Robot Toy. And their description reads, "After considering both options, management decided to go with Mommy Longlegs as Playtime Co's stretch toy concept. I like him personally." So this character is supposed to be a second incarnation of Mommy Longlegs, sharing her stretchy-like aesthetic. However, for an unknown reason, they were not selected to be created, unlike Mommy Longlegs. And what's super interesting is that this exact description from Chapter 2 actually matches quite well with the pillar on the wall. It's orange, has really long arms, and appears to share the same elastic type material that Mommy Longlegs had. So the running theory seemed to be that it's pretty clear that this toy is the Chapter 3 main antagonist leaked. I even made an unreleased video about it. Now, to confirm this information as true, I tweeted about it subliminally saying that I thought I found the Chapter 3 main antagonist hidden inside of Chapter 2, obviously referencing the orange robot from this room, which, funny enough, was actually liked by the creator Micah, one of the Poppy Playtime developers, making me think that they knew what was up and that this theory had to be true. However, unfortunately, the original Instagram account that posted this photo actually confirmed to us that this pillar on the wall is an image of a toy for an entirely different Mob Games project that was not related to Poppy Playtime at all. In fact, some people were able to dig up old voice acting job listings that basically confirmed who this robot in the factory's identity really was, and quite clearly, it's not for Chapter 3. Now, obviously, this was very disappointing, but there is a couple minor silver linings here. Because first off, we still don't know who in the world the robot actually is in the game. And we also don't want to forget that when I vaguely tweeted about Chapter 2 containing the main antagonist of Chapter 3, Micah liked it, possibly suggesting that while this robot isn't the Chapter 3 main antagonist, somewhere inside of Chapter 2 is, whether that be Daisy, Braun, or somebody else. Now, it's totally possible that this like tweet means nothing and I'm just overthinking it, but that's just my own theory. Let me know what characters in Chapter 2 you think could be in Chapter 3 in the comments below, and also like while you're down there. But anyway, while we can't be certain about who the Chapter 3 main antagonist could be, whether it's the orange robot or something else entirely, I do think there could be another clue for Chapter 3 and its potential characters. Because a few days ago, Mob Games announced a brand new, fully fleshed website for their games and other products. Now, on the surface, there isn't really all that much to see here. Obviously, it's just a website. However, if we scroll to the bottom, we could see the chapter art for the first, second, and most newly, the third chapter, showing an image of the gas mask from the original teaser trailer released in August in place of where the main antagonist would be, and they also changed the logo design, which was cool as well. Now, I've seen some people theorizing that maybe this means the gas mask is an enemy, or maybe even Daisy because she's also in the image. However, I just think that this is a placeholder until the game's real antagonist is created and announced, which I'll elaborate on in a second. But this image does tell us some interesting secrets that nobody was expecting, and things start to get a little complicated from here, so hang on tight. Now, on the surface, this image seems rather meaningless. It's just an updated Chapter 3 teaser. However, if we look closely, we could see the reason that Daisy shows up here is because this teaser photo is a combination of two separate images blended together. And we could see that the one on the right is simply just an edited version of the thumbnail for the Chapter 3 original teaser trailer, which is where the Daisy image is from. However, this then brings up an interesting question. What in the world is this random image on the left? Well, I could be totally wrong, but I actually think that if we brighten up this image, it's clearly an unseen photo of the factory in some way. And better yet, I theorize that it's a photo somewhere inside of Chapter 3. Because let's be real, why would they put this image here if it wasn't for something important. All the other game teasers have photos of the games actually in the background, so it makes total sense, and I don't recognize this photo from any of the other games, at least from what I could find. But when analyzing the screenshot, we could see that here is some kind of flooring in the same color as chapter 1. There's a wall structure right around here, and a hallway that leads to an entirely separate room of some sorts. However, what sticks out about this photo is that if we look near the end of the hallway and edit the image a bunch, we could see a shadow of what appears to be some sort of being or silhouette. Doesn't it look somewhat familiar? Perhaps maybe it's a character we've seen from the chapter 3 teaser already. Well, guys, I think that this shadowy figure we see in the back is actually none other than Bron the dinosaur, and I'm being dead serious. Putting the images side by side with Bron, we could see how similar the two look in size, and while we can only see the bottom half, this looks exactly like Bron's silhouette. More specifically, it looks like it's his bigger body version, who we've seen a couple times throughout the second chapter as well. And at least in my opinion, I think that this was a subliminal teaser by the devs, specifically trying to tell us that Bron the dinosaur in some way was going to be in chapter 3. And this is combined with the previous VHS teaser that subliminally suggests Huggy Wuggy is also going to be in chapter 3 after he escapes the factory. So I wonder if these two teasers are supposed to be subliminal tellings of who the chapter 3 characters are going to be. And maybe in the future we will get more and more teases revealing some of the other new toys, but I'm not exactly sure. However, at least in my opinion, the reveal of potentially having Bron in chapter 3 shouldn't be a massive surprise, because throughout the first two chapters, they made his character so mysterious and ambiguous to the point that his story is something that I think everybody wants to know more about. For example, the most interesting thing about Bron is that in the chapter 2's rejected toy room, they specifically seem to be focusing on Bron the dinosaur. And they do a lot of things to make him seem incredibly mysterious, like his cardboard cutout where he called himself the scariest dinosaur. But by far the biggest thing that stands out about this room that not many people are pointing out is that there are two Bron the dinosaurs. One massive one here with his eyes gouged out, and then another one that we moved to complete the initial puzzle. Now, it's not totally uncommon for us to see multiple versions of one toy, even alive ones, because we know the dozens of smaller versions of toys like Huggy Wuggy can also be alive along with their larger counterparts. However, usually for the tons of small toy-sized monsters, there's only one bigger body among the rest. There's one Kissy Missy, one Huggy Wuggy, one Mommy Longlegs, but then there's Bron, with one bigger body and then another even bigger body. It's a really weird thing to notice, however, it definitely brings up a lot of questions in regards to Bron and his purpose. Questions that I'm hoping to hear more about in chapter 3. It's a really cool theory, however, I would take this with a grain of salt, because it's totally possible that this image that makes me think he's in chapter 3 is just a very, very weirdly coincidental shadow and lighting that ends up actually meaning nothing. Possibly being a reflection of one of these pillars or something meaningless in the background, but it's so specifically hidden, I feel like it has to have a purpose. But speaking overall, chapter 3 sounds like it's going to be an incredibly cool and in-depth chapter with all sorts of characters and plenty of mysteries to be uncovered. But I'd really guess that chapter 3, like mentioned in this video, is going to contain all of these incredibly highly awaited characters like Huggy Wuggy and Bron the dinosaur, but also some more mysterious ones as well, like Daisy, just based on her presence in the second chapter. I don't know, that's just a random idea in my head. This is a very speculative video, so let me know some of the things you think are right and wrong in the comments. I'm just getting so excited for this chapter as we get closer. Subscribe to stay up to date and check this video out for a breakdown on the new Poppy Playtime VHS tape. Subscribe and peace.